No fears, no chains.
Invites you to live a life of emotional abundance.
Written by Vanessa Pisuto. Narrated by Belinda Sainsbury.
A pleasant good morning, dear friends. Today, July 27th, our devotion is entitled Productivity and Compassion. Our scripture reading is taken from Luke chapter 10, verse 33. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. As we walked through a park, Lynette and I talked about addiction to productivity. Obviously, being industrious is good and important. However, we talked about how simple it is to think our value depends on the amount of tasks we check off our to-do list. If you think you do not have that problem, I propose a challenge to you. Sit down in a chair at home and do not do anything. Count how many minutes you can spend that way without planning what you will do tomorrow, without using your cell phone or getting up to do the dishes, help your son or daughter, or do anything else. I assure you it will be a very stressful and brief experience. Perhaps you are thinking the challenge is unfair, that if you did not have so many things to do, you would love to be able to relax. And although it is true, we lead extremely busy lives, the problem is much deeper. It has to do with our identity. Our value does not depend on how much we manage to do in a 24-hour period. We are not machines. Not only is focusing on productivity dehumanizing and in many cases idolatrous, but it also often diverts us from God's call on our lives in the moment, writes Duke Dillard in his article, Fruitful, Not Productive. If we are not careful, we will be so busy, we will not have time to love. We will see every interruption and every delay as an obstacle to reaching our goal, winning approval through productivity, instead of seeing them as camouflaged opportunities. The priest and the Levite in the parable went on their way when they saw the wounded man because they were too busy. Luke 10:25 to 37. They could not touch a bloody man because they would contaminate their clothing and would no longer be able to serve in the temple. There was no time to lose, so they went on their way. Focusing on productivity dehumanized them and prevented them from seeing God's call for that very moment. The Samaritan, however, moved by compassion, not by industrial efficiency, stopped and helped the wounded man. Father, I often feel that my value depends on how much I manage to do instead of who I belong to. Forgive me and help me to remain in your love. In these 24 hours, please remind me that my value is already assured and forever engraved in Jesus' hands. Please help me to accept interruptions and delays in my plans as possible opportunities to serve as camouflaged missions. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. Luke 10:33.